Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strangely drained even though nothing bad actually happened? No argument, no insult, no obvious conflict. Yet something felt off. This is not weakness, and it's not imagination. Some forms of negativity don't announce themselves loudly. They don't attack you head-on. They work quietly, through doubt, tension, and emotional erosion. Over time, they cloud your judgment, disturb your peace, and pull you away from your best self. Stoic philosophy never spoke about evil as superstition. It spoke about influence, about people, environments, and patterns that slowly take control of your reactions if you're not aware. As Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you that harms you, but how it shapes your inner response. In this video, we'll uncover 8 evident signs that you may be surrounded by destructive energy, and, more importantly, how to protect your mind without fear, drama, or hatred. Stay with me until the end, because awareness is not paranoia. Awareness is protection. 1. You feel drained without knowing why. One of the clearest signs you're surrounded by destructive energy is also the hardest to explain. You don't leave angry, you don't leave upset, you just leave tired. There was no argument, no raised voice, nothing you can point to and say, "That's what hurt me." And yet, something inside you feels depleted. Stoicism teaches us that not all harm comes from obvious attacks. Some harm comes from constant, subtle pressure on your inner balance. When you spend time around certain people, your mind is forced into defense mode without you realizing it. You monitor your words, you adjust your tone, you suppress instincts. That silent effort costs energy. Pay attention to the pattern. After healthy interactions, even serious conversations, you usually feel clearer, grounded, more yourself. But after being around the wrong energy, you feel foggy, heavy. You want to withdraw. Not to rest, but to recover. That's not a coincidence. Your nervous system is picking up something your rational mind hasn't named yet. A lack of sincerity, a hidden agenda, a constant low-level tension. Stoics believe the body often reacts before the intellect catches up. Your internal state is giving you data. Many people ignore this signal because it doesn't feel logical enough. They tell themselves, "Nothing bad happened, so why do I feel this way?" But Stoic wisdom doesn't require visible proof to take internal feedback seriously. If someone consistently leaves you emotionally poorer than before, that matters. Energy is not mystical. It's the result of where your attention, restraint, and emotional labor are being spent. Notice how you feel an hour after the interaction. Notice whether your mind replays the conversation. Notice whether your breathing feels shallow or relaxed. Stoicism is about self-governance, and you cannot govern yourself well if your energy is constantly leaking into environments that drain you. This doesn't mean you judge people as bad. It means you judge interactions by their effect on your character. A Stoic doesn't ask, "Did they mean harm?" A Stoic asks, "What does this cost me internally?" Because peace is not something you earn later. It's something you protect now. If your energy consistently drops around someone, don't argue with the signal. Listen to it. Energy doesn't lie. 2. They plant doubt in your mind. Another evident sign of destructive energy is not aggression, but uncertainty. These people rarely attack you directly. They don't openly criticize. Instead, they leave you questioning yourself. It often sounds subtle, almost reasonable. A comment framed as concern, a question disguised as advice, a pause that makes you second-guess a decision you once felt confident about. At first, you don't notice the damage, but over time, something changes. You hesitate more. You replay conversations in your head. You begin to seek reassurance for choices that never used to trouble you. Stoicism warns us clearly about this state. The moment you lose trust in your own judgment, you hand over control of your inner life. Doubt, when planted repeatedly, weakens the foundation of self-command. Epictetus taught that freedom begins with sound judgment. When someone quietly interferes with that judgment without ever taking responsibility, they gain influence over you without force. Pay attention to how this doubt enters. They might say things like, "Are you sure that's the best move? I'm just worried you might regret this. I don't know. People might see that differently." None of these statements are overtly hostile. That's what makes them effective. Over time, your inner voice becomes less clear. You stop asking, "What do I believe?" and start asking, "What will they think?" This is not guidance. This is erosion. Healthy people may challenge your ideas, but they leave your sense of self intact. Destructive energy does the opposite. It blurs your confidence while pretending to help. The Stoics believed that clarity is a moral duty. You are responsible for guarding the quality of your thoughts. Anyone who repeatedly clouds them without offering responsibility, consistency, or truth should not have unrestricted access to your inner world. Notice the pattern. Do you feel smaller after speaking with them? Less decisive, less anchored in your own values? If so, this isn't a coincidence. It's conditioning. The Stoic response is not confrontation. It is firmness. You return to first principles. You measure advice by actions, not tone. You stop explaining your choices to people who only respond with uncertainty. Self-trust is not arrogance. It is the backbone of inner freedom. And once it cracks, everything else becomes negotiable. Doubt is not always born inside you. Sometimes it is planted, slowly, quietly, and repeatedly. Recognize it early, because the moment you stop trusting your own judgment, someone else begins to guide your life for you. 3. Their presence brings tension or quiet fear. There are people whose presence makes you alert in a way that has nothing to do with respect. You don't feel inspired. You don't feel challenged. You feel tense. Around them, your body tightens before your mind understands why. Your words become measured. Your humor fades. You become careful, not thoughtful, but cautious, as if one wrong step might lead to discomfort, judgment, or subtle retaliation. This is not normal connection. Stoicism teaches that peace is the natural state of a well-governed mind. Tension, when constant and unexplained, is a sign that something in the environment is pushing against your inner balance. Ask yourself this honestly. Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells? Do you replay what you said, wondering how it will be interpreted? And do you feel relief, not warmth, when the interaction ends? That quiet sense of fear is important. Not fear of physical danger, but fear of emotional consequence. Fear of disapproval. Fear of being misunderstood on purpose. Destructive energy often works through unpredictability. You never quite know where you stand. One day they're warm, the next distant. One moment supportive, the next subtly critical. This inconsistency forces your mind into constant adjustment, and adjustment without stability is exhausting. Stoics warned against living in a state of anticipation, constantly preparing for reactions instead of acting from principle. When someone's presence makes you monitor yourself excessively, they are already influencing your freedom. Notice how different this feels from healthy seriousness. And a wise mentor may challenge you, but you feel clearer afterward. A strong personality may be intense, but you don't feel smaller. Destructive energy leaves you guarded, not grounded. Many people normalize this tension, especially in families or workplaces. They tell themselves, that's just how they are. But Stoicism asks a sharper question. What is this doing to your character? If being around someone consistently pulls you away from calm, honesty, and inner steadiness, that cost matters. Not because the other person is evil, but because your peace is being negotiated away. The Stoic response is not fear, it is clarity. You stop confusing tension with depth. You stop mistaking anxiety for importance. You recognize that a healthy mind does not require constant self-surveillance. Calm is not weakness. Ease is not irresponsibility. If someone's presence regularly brings quiet fear or pressure, don't ignore the signal. Your mind is reacting to something real, even if it hasn't formed words yet. Peace is not something you stumble into by accident. It is what remains when harmful influence is removed. And anything that consistently disrupts it deserves your attention. 4. They never take responsibility. One of the most revealing signs of destructive energy is an absolute refusal to take responsibility, not just for actions, but for impact. No matter what happens, it is never truly their fault. There is always an explanation, a justification, a reason why circumstances, timing, or other people are to blame. Even when harm is obvious, accountability quietly disappears. Stoicism treats responsibility as a cornerstone of character. A person who cannot acknowledge their role in outcomes cannot be trusted to act with integrity. Without responsibility, there is no correction, and without correction, patterns repeat. Pay attention to how this shows up. When conflict arises, they redirect. When emotions are hurt, they minimize. When boundaries are crossed, they rationalize. As you may hear things like, "That's not what I meant. You're being too sensitive." Anyone would have reacted that way. On the surface, these statements sound calm, even reasonable, but beneath them lies a refusal to engage with consequences. Over time, this creates an imbalance. You begin carrying emotional weight that is not yours. You explain, you clarify, you adjust. Meanwhile, they remain unchanged. This dynamic slowly trains you to accept discomfort as normal and accountability as optional. Stoics warned against this exact pattern. Marcus Aurelius wrote that people reveal themselves not by what they claim, but by what they repeatedly avoid. And avoidance of responsibility is not neutral. It is corrosive. A person who never owns their mistakes places themselves above growth. They remain fixed while expecting others to adapt. That is not strength. It is stagnation with influence. Notice the effect on you. Do you feel pressure to be endlessly patient? Do you apologize just to restore peace, even when you weren't wrong? Do you feel confused after conversations that should have brought resolution? That confusion is not accidental. When responsibility is absent, clarity collapses. Problems don't end, they circulate, and circulation without resolution slowly drains respect, trust, and peace. The Stoic response is not to argue endlessly. It is to observe patterns. You stop expecting accountability from those who have shown you they will not provide it. You adjust access, not out of anger, but out of realism. Stoicism is not about hoping people will change. It is about responding accurately to who they already are. Where responsibility is missing, safety eventually follows, and a Stoic does not place their inner stability in unsafe hands. Responsibility is not a bonus trait. It is the minimum requirement for healthy connection. Anything less demands distance, not debate. Tiep theola fan nam viet lien mak kung jong stoic lan ting kem soat kuang bontram tam moi tu. 5. They feed on emotional chaos. One of the most dangerous signs of destructive energy is how some people respond to your emotional instability. When you are calm, grounded, and focused, they seem uninterested, distant, even dismissive. But when you are stressed, upset, confused, or reactive, something changes. They become alert, engaged, almost energized. This is not coincidence. Stoicism teaches that some individuals gain a sense of control or relevance through emotional disturbance. Your reaction becomes their fuel. Your imbalance becomes their confirmation of power. Watch the pattern closely. When you are peaceful, they provoke. When you remain composed, they escalate subtly. When you finally react, they appear satisfied, sometimes even calm. This reversal is critical. Healthy people seek resolution. Destructive energy seeks reaction. They may poke at sensitive topics, use sarcasm disguised as humor, bring up past mistakes by accident, or question your intentions at the exact moment you are most vulnerable. None of it is loud, none of it is obvious. That's why it works. Stoics understood this well. They warned that the person who can control your emotions controls you. And the easiest emotions to manipulate are anger, guilt, and defensiveness. Once you react, the balance shifts. You explain yourself, you justify your feelings, you lose composure while they gain leverage. And the moment you notice this, the trap becomes clear. Your calm deprives them of influence. Your silence starves the cycle. Your refusal to engage ends the exchange. This is why Stoicism places such emphasis on emotional restraint. Not to suppress feelings, but to prevent others from using them against you. Notice how these people behave when you don't respond. They grow restless. They push harder. They attempt new angles. This persistence reveals the truth. It was never about understanding. It was about stimulation through disruption. The Stoic response is simple, but not easy. You stop rewarding chaos with attention. You stop mistaking provocation for importance. You choose stillness over explanation. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you always have the option of having no opinion, and in many cases, that option is strength. You're not obligated to react to every emotional invitation. You are not required to defend your peace. If someone seems to thrive when you lose control, recognize the danger early. Distance is not cruelty. It is clarity, because emotional chaos is never accidental to those who benefit from it. And the strongest move is not winning the argument. It is refusing to play the game at all. 6. They quietly violate your boundaries. Destructive energy rarely breaks boundaries loudly. It does so quietly, not with clear confrontation, but with small, repeated intrusions that are easy to excuse and hard to call out. Each individual moment feels insignificant. Together, they form a pattern of disrespect. They interrupt your time without asking. They push conversations you've already signaled you don't want. They demand emotional access without earning trust. And when you hesitate, they act confused, as if your boundaries are unreasonable. Stoicism treats boundaries as an extension of self-respect. To protect your character, you must protect your limits. Anyone who repeatedly ignores those limits is not confused. They are testing how much access they can take without consequence. Notice how subtle it is. They frame intrusion as care. They cross lines just this once. They make you feel guilty for wanting space. Over time, you begin to question yourself instead of the behavior. You adapt, you accommodate, you soften your own standards to keep the peace. That is the danger. Stoics warned that small compromises, when repeated, erode inner authority. Each time you allow a minor violation, you teach others how to treat you, and you teach yourself what you are willing to tolerate. Pay attention to how they react when you finally assert a boundary. Do they respect it? Or do they argue, minimize, or mock it? A person with healthy intent may be disappointed, but they adjust. A person with destructive energy resists. They push back, emotionally or passively, because your boundary threatens their control. Stoicism does not demand confrontation, and it demands clarity. You don't need to explain every limit. You don't need permission to protect your time, focus, or emotional space. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They determine what is allowed to enter your inner life and what must remain outside. When someone repeatedly violates them, they are not misunderstanding you. They are showing you their priorities. The Stoic response is firm and calm. You state your limit once. You observe the response. and you adjust access accordingly. No anger, no lectures, no negotiation with disrespect. Because anyone who cannot respect small boundaries will eventually violate larger ones. And a Stoic does not wait for major damage to justify distance. Boundaries are self-respect in action, and protecting them is not selfish, it is necessary. 7. You become someone you don't like around them. One of the most honest signals of destructive energy is not how they behave, it's how you change. Around certain people, you begin to act in ways that feel unfamiliar. You speak more sharply. You grow defensive. You hide parts of yourself. Or worse, you compromise values you once held without question. This shift doesn't happen suddenly. It happens gradually. You justify small reactions at first. I was just tired. They pushed my buttons. That's not really me. But Stoicism teaches that character is revealed in patterns, not excuses. Ask yourself this carefully. Do you like who you become around them? Do you recognize your tone, your thoughts, your impulses? Or do you feel slightly ashamed afterward, like you've drifted away from yourself? This matters. Stoics believe that environment shapes behavior, not because you lack willpower, but because constant pressure influences even the disciplined mind. If being around someone consistently pulls you toward resentment, anxiety, or cruelty, that environment is incompatible with your character. Notice the contrast. Around healthy people, you feel steady, honest, calm. Around destructive energy, you feel reactive, guarded, reduced. This is not about perfection. Stoicism does not demand that you never feel anger or frustration. It asks something deeper, whether your surroundings support or sabotage your pursuit of virtue. Some people bring out your patience, others bring out your pride, others slowly bring out your worst instincts without ever raising their voice. That last group is the most dangerous. Because when you begin betraying your own standards to survive an interaction, you're paying too high a price for connection. Many people stay in these dynamics because they blame themselves. They think, if I were stronger, calmer, wiser, this wouldn't affect me. Stoicism rejects this thinking. Strength does not mean tolerating environments that corrode your character. Wisdom means choosing conditions that allow your best self to exist naturally. The Stoic response is not shame. It is honesty. You acknowledge the pattern. You stop defending it. You accept that distance may be necessary, not because the other person is evil, but because the relationship pulls you away from who you are trying to be. If someone consistently brings out a version of you that you don't respect, pay attention. Character erosion is not loud. It is quiet, gradual, and rationalized. And by the time you notice it fully, the damage is already underway. Protecting your character is not dramatic. It is disciplined, and a Stoic never sacrifices inner integrity for proximity to anyone. 8. Distance brings peace and clarity. The final sign is also the most decisive. It doesn't appear while you're still inside the situation. It appears after you step away. Distance. When you reduce contact, emotionally, mentally, or physically, something unexpected happens. Your mind quiets. Your breathing deepens. Your thoughts feel ordered again. Decisions that once felt confusing suddenly seem obvious. This clarity is not accidental. Stoicism teaches that confusion often comes from proximity. When you are too close to constant influence, you lose perspective. Distance removes distortion. It allows the mind to return to its natural state. Ask yourself this honestly. Do you feel lighter when you're away from them? Do you regain focus, confidence, or calm after time apart? Do problems that once felt overwhelming shrink once they're no longer present? If the answer is yes, that is not avoidance. That is information. Many people mistake distance for weakness or fear. Stoicism rejects that interpretation. Distance is not running away. Distance is observation without interference. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind becomes disturbed not by events, but by judgments formed under pressure. When pressure is removed, judgment improves. Clarity returns. This is why destructive energy is often hardest to recognize from within. When you're close, you normalize tension. You rationalize discomfort. You tell yourself, this is just how life is. But once you step back, the contrast becomes undeniable. Silence feels nourishing. Space feels safe. Your inner voice becomes audible again. That is not coincidence, and that is your mind recovering. Notice how your values resurface. You remember what matters. You regain patience. You stop rehearsing conversations that never needed to happen. This is the most honest test Stoicism offers. Not, are they a bad person? But, who am I when they are not around? If the answer is calmer, clearer, more grounded, then something in that dynamic was costing you more than you realized. Some people fear this realization because it forces a decision. They worry that choosing distance makes them cold, unkind, or disloyal. Stoicism reframes this entirely. You are not obligated to remain close to what disturbs your inner order. You're responsible for protecting your capacity to live with reason and virtue. Distance is not punishment. It is calibration. It resets the balance between you and your own judgment. And the Stoic does not cut people off impulsively. But the Stoic also does not ignore evidence. And peace is evidence. If stepping away consistently brings clarity, that clarity is telling you something essential. Not everyone who disrupts your peace does so intentionally. But intention is irrelevant to outcome. What matters is the effect on your character. Stoicism is not about enduring everything. It is about enduring what aligns with your values and releasing what does not. Distance allows you to see clearly whether a relationship supports your growth or undermines it. And once that truth is visible, the choice becomes simpler. You don't need anger. You don't need explanation. You don't need permission. You need accuracy. Peace is not something you argue yourself into. It is what remains when the wrong influences are removed. And when clarity is the quiet confirmation that you were right to step back. When distance brings peace, believe it. What you've learned in this video is not meant to make you suspicious of everyone around you. It's meant to make you honest with yourself. The 8 signs we explored are not dramatic warnings. They are quiet signals, felt in your energy, your clarity, your character, and your peace. Stoicism teaches that wisdom does not come from reacting loudly, but from observing accurately. You noticed how destructive influence often appears subtly, not through open conflict, but through doubt, not through force, but through tension, not through chaos at first, but through slow erosion of self-respect and inner balance. And most importantly, you saw the final proof. Peace returns when distance appears. That alone tells you everything you need to know. The Stoic understands one essential truth. You cannot control other people, but you are fully responsible for what you allow to shape your inner life. Your time, your attention, and your emotional energy are finite. Where you place them determines who you become. This philosophy does not ask you to hate. It does not ask you to confront every wrong. It asks you to choose wisely. You don't need to label anyone as evil. You don't need to justify your boundaries endlessly. You only need to notice what strengthens your character and what weakens it. When you protect your peace, you protect your judgment. When you protect your judgment, you protect your freedom. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, and the quality of your thoughts depends heavily on the environments and influences you allow close. So move forward calmly. Observe more than you react. Now choose distance when clarity demands it. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every connection deserves continuation. And that is not cruelty. That is wisdom. If this message resonated with you, let it guide your choices quietly. You don't need to announce your boundaries. You don't need to explain your calm. Just live with intention. If you found value here, leave a comment saying, "I choose clarity." And if you want more insights rooted in Stoic motivation and inner strength, consider subscribing. Until next time, protect your mind, guard your peace, and stay aware.